And has it started? Yeah, it has. Okay, so everyone, welcome to our little mini meeting security, not really too big, poorly planned security meeting. And what this essentially is it's sort of, I took and kidnapped a bunch of good security officers, and we're gonna answer.
Help!
Shh! And we're gonna answer and talk about some security incidents and questions, answer questions, go over space law, go over antags, and it's sort of just gonna be, um, sort of act as both an introduction to new people that want to get into security, and also even some veteran officers just so that they can learn even more useful tips. And the way the day is going to go for now, first things first, we're going to go talk about every single law. Like, we're going to go down a list, and we're going to talk about every single law in their context, because, like, I think that a lot of the times these laws are misinterpreted sometimes. Then we're going to talk about how to handle certain hand tags, like how to process changelings, how to process vampires, stuff like that. And then finally, the bulk of the meeting is mostly going to be us answering questions. So if you have a question, what you're going to want to do is just send that question directly to me, and I'm going to go down all the questions in order, and we're going to talk about every question. Yeah. If you want to, we'll read the questions off. I'll read the questions off, but if you want to have yourself unmuted in order to ask your question, just let me know in
Oh
the
god,
message.
that's a good fucking question.
Yeah, and we'll try to avoid answering questions in the Space Station 13 chat because it moves fast, and we're not going to be able to answer all of them.
Yeah, PM them to ping.
Yeah, I'll take them
We might grab one, but
if they're very interesting. If you do not have a mic, if you do not have a mic, just don't mention that, and I'll just read off the question myself. But yeah, we're going to start off with space law. And I'm not joking, we're literally going to sit down and stare at every single law and talk about the context they're in.
Oh dear lord.
Or just boot up the wiki.
Yeah, go ahead and boot up the wiki, guys. I'm going to go ahead and post
that.
that.
Band as well.
fucking plebs, you don't have the wiki open already?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have them memorized?
Jesus, come
Completely
on.
memorized?
Get it together.
We're not going to go over contraband. No, that's going to take way too long. There's a lot of items.
Oh,
Let's just
Dean actually kind
begin.
of wants us to go over contraband.
God damn it, Dean, go fuck yourself.
Gee, oh
Let's just
god.
begin this thing, please.
Alright, let's go ahead and
Resisting
start
arrest.
Wait, before resisting arrest, very important thing that you need to do in minor crimes is, as you can see, it says that all sentences can go from a simple warning to 5 minutes. This is a change that was actually very, very well discussed in staff chat while we were still going through the space law rewrite a few weeks ago. And the whole point of this was, do we really want to waste time processing and bringing someone for 5 minutes because they were naked? Some people would say yes. I would say no, it's not really worth the time. Just slap them across the face or baton them once, force some clothes on them, and give them a warning. Now, if they insist, then you can go for an actual sentence. Whatever. Resisting arrest, here we go.
Yeah, you can just put clothes on them and be done.
I think that resisting arrest is like one of the best contexts for how most people treat minor crimes, because it's literally a crime that you have to slap on at the end of another charge. Like, the officer has to be committing an arrest in order to put the crime on resisting arrest. But one thing I've noticed about this crime is that, like, most of the time when you're arresting someone, they're always resisting arrest, but this particular charge isn't always slapped on.
Here's the appropriate thing. You should really try to make your intent clear. First off, if the arrest isn't legitimate, you cannot resist arrest. You cannot try to arrest someone on a bogus charge and then arrest them anyway because they resisted. It needs to be an actual legitimate charge. Regardless, make your intentions clear that you're arresting them, because at that point the person has two choices. They can either go with you or they can resist the arrest. And if they resist the arrest, then you can slap on the extra 5 minutes.
You can also be guilty of resisting arrest without committing a crime per se. If an officer is searching somebody and that person violently avoids the search, that is resisting arrest.
That is also true.
I actually never arrest people for that sort of thing because with searching people, not to get off topic, searching people, if they don't cooperate, you can just whack them with the baton, slap some cuffs on, search them, and then if they have nothing on them, then you can just let them go and be like, sorry for slapping you with the baton, you know.
Yeah, it's a
But-
very
Yeah.
bad, it's a much
Yeah.
better approach than that.
But
Bottom
obviously,
line is
if you have to
cooperate.
run them down 15 minutes, then you probably want to book them resisting arrest. It's all about context.
Anybody have any want some clarifications on this? Actually, you know, just if there's anything with resisting arrest that isn't clear, maybe. Lay it on me.
I have a question actually. What happens if an officer makes an improper arrest?
I already told you the arrest needs to be legitimate for the resisting arrest to happen. So you can't
Internal
arrest. You can't arrest the bartender for drinking in public and then arrest them anyway because they resisted arrest, because the initial arrest was not legitimate in the first place.
Internal affairs typically is the people that investigate arrests. So, if you feel as though you were unjustly arrested, contact the fuck out of one of them. Contact the head of security, the magistrate, head of personnel, even.
And admin
can
help
help
too.
you out, maybe.
And admin help.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even kidding here. This is IC and OOC. If security is not following space law, admin help that shit, because we do not like security not following space law.
We don't like security. I fixed that for you.
Oh, we just don't like it plain.
Should we move on to the next charge then?
Yes.
Awesome. Battery, which is actually one of the new charges that was introduced in the newest rendition.
I hate
dear.
this one.
Battery always gets confused with assault.
The point of battery is it does not actually damage people, but it severely as fucking conveniences them. Like, oh, let me just disarm spam someone for 3 straight minutes. Or let me just table stun someone. Or let me tase someone.
Maybe like battery was removed, like in the rendition of Space Law that I have, that I had like when I first joined, battery was removed and then was re-added, I suppose. But I think
No,
that it was
battery-
mostly. Sorry, go on.
Battery was removed initially because we used to have immense problems with security, and they kind of abused the shit out of that. So nowadays, at least they don't abuse it. They just confuse battery with assault. But that's what it was always before. But essentially, battery is to be used when someone just being a little shit and disarming someone, and not actually punching them.
Yeah, it was like
anything that keeps someone inconvenienced.
Actually, in battery, it does say a few punches. So, yes,
Yes.
yeah.
1 to 2 to 3 punches. 3 punches at most is still battery.
Mm.
But regardless, battery is supposed to be mostly non-lethal, non-damaging stuff. Also, keep in mind, you can be arrested for battery as a security officer if you just randomly tase someone for no reason. Do keep
if you're
in mind, crossfire and accidental friendly fire does not count. So if you're actually trying to shoot someone and you just, have a really shitty aim, then it doesn't count as battery.
I think this law was mostly introduced just because of people that were harassing security. They would disarm spam random
Not just
people,
security, but
like
everyone.
other
I mean,
people. Yeah.
Like, oh, hello, I've been in a bar brawl. I've been tabling someone for the past 5 minutes, but I didn't damage them, so it's not assault.
That's exactly why I think it was introduced. But it's definitely, unless they're honestly being just an absolute shit about it, it's definitely one of those charges that you tend to ignore and move on to something that's more important, because battery is fairly minor.
Yeah, and just give them a warning. Like, slap them across the face and go, stop shanking people.
All right, next
Next
one then?
one.
Or,
Drug
yeah,
possession.
drug possession.
Oh,
The first thing, I need to talk about this. If you are a botanist, a chemist, or a scientist, they are allowed to carry drugs. I've seen this mistake so many times. They are allowed to carry these drugs. You should not be arresting the scientists for having these kinds of things.
Even if it's
However-
crank or bath salts.
Oh, they
However-
can't take them out to the work area, I suppose. Does it say there?
No, but it's
Botanists and medicine
definitely implied.
officers,
That's true, I suppose
as
it is.
long as they are not distributing or using them for profit or recreation. So you can have them, but you can't use them.
Also, for the purposes of their job. So typically, if the say say the medbay chemist is making bath salts, well, what do you need that for? Come on.
You can actually fire. First of all, you don't need to arrest them, but you sure as fuck should fire the chemist for taking so much of their time making completely useless recreational drugs.
Yeah, you should probably contact the CMO.
Yeah, but apart from that, if a civilian is carrying these drugs, or a random doctor, or an engineer, or a cargo tech, or anyone that is not listed there, then yes, the drug possession does apply.
When it comes to, like, say, weed, though, it's really not worth security's time to arrest people. Like, if you've got a grey shirt running around with a joint in their mouth, is it really worth your time as an officer?
Again, that's why it's a minor crime. Just slap them across the
Yeah.
face, get the drugs out of their system, and tell them stop being junkies.
It is
I
like
did have a fucking engineer come into the brig for having like a duffel bag full of speed once.
Ha!
yeah, if it's blue alert or above, it really isn't a crime that's worth your time. Like if they want, like most of the recreational drugs will damage damage the user, but if they want to damage themselves, that's their choice. I know like that probably wasn't like the intent of that law, but whatever. Anything else that we want to add to this one? Move on.
Oh, actually, never mind. I just have a weird story.
Let's move along before we do which story. Indecent exposure.
Fuck this one.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Not worth your time, move on.
There's
Wait.
gotta be a lot to
One
talk.
thing though. If you are wearing, because I know that in the loadout you can actually make like clothing underneath the jumpsuit, that kind of thing, like boxers or a t-shirt. I mean, quite frankly, are you really gonna arrest somebody? I mean, I don't know. It seems silly. It's a silly law.
As a general rule, when it comes to arresting people for not wearing clothes, don't.
Yeah, what
Just
Dean said. People use it to
warn
get
them.
attention. Hell, I do it to get attention. Jesus Christ.
Just warn them, baton them, put some clothes on them, cover
Yep.
their shame, and move
But
on.
if they keep taking off their clothes in order to harass security, there's just a certain point where you just have to say, okay, you're not worth anyone's time anymore. Because most of the time, it's never worth anyone's time. And I've had like a really recent incident where someone has been arrested for indecent exposure literally 5 times by the same officer, and like that is just using up that officer's manpower when he could have been used somewhere else.
Shall we move on?
Vandalism.
Vandalism. Oh my fucking god. Graffiti is not
Graffiti
vandalism.
does not count as
Graffiti is
vandalism.
not
Yes,
vandalism.
let's get this out of the way. Floor painters, crayon, and graffito are not bloody vandalism.
Graffito?
That's
Although the
plurals, I
image
don't-
should be
I don't know.
changed. The image should be changed
Anti-graffiti.
because it does have graffiti in the image.
Yeah, that's
That
flattest.
needs to be changed, yeah.
Flattest.
God damn it. Regardless, vandalism implies actual destruction of station property or station materials.
So
And we
smashing
see-
windows.
And when we say that, we don't mean opening a window to space. That's sabotage or grand sabotage, depending on the amount of damage done. We're talking about stuff like deconstructing chairs in public areas, tearing down walls, destroying windows, destroying grills, breaking into. Actually, just destroying a wall and not going in, I don't really count as breaking and entering. If you're just welding a wall, I consider that to be vandalism. Basically, minor damage to the station that doesn't really inconvenience anyone. Now, if you open a hole in the ground, that's different.
Also, don't forget the pets. If you kill in
oh,
or
yes,
any
yeah.
of the pets,
Yeah.
you're committing vandalism.
If I actually had this happen to me recently, I tried saving a cat because somebody mass spawned cats, I think, for the life mob or something like that. Anyways, I was dragging one away, and then somebody chases after me and actually beats the shit out of it with I don't know what to beat it up with. But anyways, that actually does count as vandalism. If you claim a pet or something like that as your own, and if somebody kills it, then whoever killed it has committed vandalism.
It says here, as do all departmental pets count as station property, as do any other non-hostile animals acquired by any other means. So pug crates, cat crates, butterfly crates, shit like that. Except for monkeys. Monkeys are for experimentation because monkeys are monkeys and have no rights.
I'm surprised nobody's tried
Wait.
writing, like, for monkey rights. I would
if you're
love
given
love to see
permission,
that.
Thusen, you are
Because
allowed.
no one's that stupid
Wait.
and thick-headed.
Does that mean that tribbles are not legit to kill without
Do we
breaking
even
law?
do we even have tribbles?
We don't, but if some happen to appear, they would never stop, reproducing.
Well, if you have a tribble, you can claim a tribble as a pet. So but then again, you can't really claim 76 tribbles as a pet, now can you?
Well, you could.
That makes you a crazy tribble lady.
I think, do personal AIs fall underneath this law? Or does that go underneath robbery?
I would say that depends on if you destroy it or if you just rob it.
Yes, but then think about it this way. Destroying it is obviously a lot worse, but by destroying it, you're only doing vandalism. Like, let's say that you have your PA out as like a pet or something like that. Somebody smashes it with a crowbar. Well, that's only vandalism. Whereas if they, say, picked it up and then took it away, well, that's
Robbery.
robbery. And that counts.
Yeah.
But twice as long, though.
Yeah, because you're stealing something from someone.
Yeah, but he's saying that like killing the PA outright is less of a crime than stealing it.
Well, yes, but how can I put this? If you steal a PAI, that PAI intelligence is still there and cannot move unless they commit suicide or they just, get wiped. And if the PAI does not want to commit suicide or doesn't want to wipe itself, if they don't want to kill themselves, they're basically stuck in that PAI chassis. Meanwhile, if you destroy the PAI, that's it. They can just respawn if they get another PAI.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Alright, then.
Next law.
Next law, trespass. And this was a medium crime before the changes, and now it is a minor crime.
Thank fucking goodness.
Because yeah, trespassing is for 10 minutes for trespassing is a lot. So let's talk about like the context of trespassing and what is trespassing, what's not trespassing.
I mean, obviously, if someone walks into medbay because they're injured and they want to seek medical attention and no one's in the front lobby, that's not trespassing in the slightest. If someone walks into security to deliver evidence or they want to ask for help, that's not trespassing. If an IPC walks into robotics because they're heavily damaged and need repairs, that's not trespassing. Trespassing in this particular context would mean someone who just walks into somewhere, they really have no reason to be there, and they just kind of went in for no reason. Just
People
because the door
entering
was open.
science when they're not scientists.
Yes.
Pretty much.
As an officer, you should usually give people a chance to leave before you arrest them, and if they refuse to, then you want to get them on trespass.
Yeah.
Yeah, assuming it's not a restricted area, just tell them to leave through the door. If they don't, then you can arrest them.
If somebody's breaking into the kitchen, please don't arrest them. Tell them to get out. But if there's no chef and they're like making themselves food, I mean, like, god damn, they're making themselves food. Why bother?
It falls into the same logic as someone crossing the bar counter if there's no bartender. Yes, it's against the law, but you now have someone serving drinks and they're giving out a service to the community.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think
Yeah.
that the best way to decide who's trespassing or not is if someone else that's part of that area is specifically asking you guys, "Hey, arrest this guy for trespassing. He's not supposed to be in here." Like, let's say like someone gets into like engineering and someone calls out from engineering, "Hey, how did this guy get in here? Security, no one let him in." Like, if most of the time,
stealing.
most of the time you will be informed by via comms if someone is trespassing. Like, that's definitely one of those crimes that like people will report, and that's mostly if they report it, like that's mostly where we're going to be hearing about those crimes at least.
Of course, this applies to non-restricted areas. Restricted trespassing is brigable pretty much every single time. Under the just because the door is open does not mean you get to go in.
And just because you ask the AI to let you in there does not mean that you can be allowed in there. Like, if you get the AI to open the door for you on Crusimov.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also,
Cough, Sid!
Just before we go on to the next law thing, I think, because I don't have the thing open right now, I think at the very top of Space Law there's a thing saying something like space law, something is in the interest of the station, something. Basically, what it means is that for this case, for trespassing mostly, if they're helping the station, if they're not disturbing anyone, if they're well intended, then fuck it, let them do whatever they want to do. They're probably helping themselves or someone else.
Awesome. All right, let's go on to
Wise
medium
words from
crimes.
Sergey.
Wise words from Sergey.
Alright, medium crimes, these carry between 5 to 10 minutes in the brig at the discretion of the arresting officer or security. This, of course, should be changed depending on whether or not. Honestly, the biggest change here is whether or not the person you're arresting is acting like a shit. If they're being cooperative, if they're being friendly, if they're being a generally nice person, consider giving them 5 minutes for the crime. If they're just yelling their ass off or spamming the chat about security, then just give them a maximum sentence.
All right then, assault. And I think like something came up with assault that Tully taught about me when he was magistrate. In the description it says to use excessive physical force against someone without the impaired intent to kill him. Excessive is a key word here, because accidentally punching someone, like maybe as a misclick, or like let's say you're holding a scalpel as a doctor and you accidentally like misclick someone and stab them once, that's not assault. That's an accident. I think that's like one of the.
Yes, it has to be intentional, and you can very clearly tell when assault is intentional. When, I don't know, someone bashes someone's head in with a crowbar 5 or 6 times. That's not an accident. You don't accidentally hit someone with a crowbar 6 times.
There is something I want to mention, though. There's always the situation of he started it. No, he started it. And you run into problems there. I mean, I, for one, actually arrested a Grey Tighter not too long ago for assault 3 times, I think. He got banned later. God damn, thank you for that, admins. But every time he would say, you know, I did it in self-defense. I was attacking somebody that was attacking me. And so it can be very hard to discern as security whether or not you're arresting the right person. I personally like to arrest both people, then get both of their stories at the brig. That's just how I like to address it. Some people ignore it, you know. It's a very hard thing to handle.
Personally, the way I handle these cases is I tell them both to stop, to quit it out, chill out for a bit. And if they keep on, yeah, they can both. But if I manage to make them stop, I kind of just let it go there and give them a warning and yeah, see what happens. But
this is especially true in the case of bar fights, which more often than not are both people are to blame. One of them is drunk, both of them are drunk. Maybe they're trying to force feed alcohol. Who knows? It's a bunch of drunk people getting even drunker. So what I'd like to do is very much like what Faceplant did, is get both of them, put them in processing, compare their stories, and then either arrest both of them or just one of them.
And Dean mentioned this, there is a difference between assault and aggravated assault. So if it gets to the point of broken bones or internal bleeding, you have to apply the higher crime to it. And most of the time it'll be obvious when it happens. And we will get to aggravated pretty soon. Not soon enough, though. Next one is robbery. To steal items from another person.
This is pretty cut and dry. Is if you either steal someone via looting them from their menu, take stuff when they're on the ground. Let's say someone accidentally drops their bags and you take them. That's robbery. Let's say you take someone's PAI, like we were saying before. That's robbery. Let's say you use someone's open ATM account to steal money. That's also robbery. Basically, any time where you take an item from someone that does not belong to you is robbery. It's pretty simple.
And also like stuff such as disarming, if it's off their person. Right, it personally belongs to them, it's definitely an apartment.
Interesting point. Imagine you disarm an officer, their taser or stun baton, please do not sentence that someone to robbery and possession of a weapon. It was quite clearly just robbery. They just robbed something from them. Now, assault of an officer, that's a different thing, but we can get to that later.
Anything else you want to add to that? Because we were talking about robbery earlier, but the meeting wasn't official, so we have to restate the points that we made.
I think we stated all the points, really.
Did we? Excellent. Awesome. Okay. That was pretty cut and dry. Narcotics distribution. Honestly, I think this falls under the same points that we made under drug possession. Most of the time, not worth it unless it's massive, like a meth, which increases your speed, or crank, which is a great painkiller.
Yeah, unless it's something that starts significantly impacting the round for a lot of people, then it's really not worth your time.
And yeah,
And as the notes say, forcing or tricking somebody to consume substances such as space drugs is assault.
Yeah.
and if they're distributing things that kill people, as Dean said, I think that does more qualify towards assault or aggravated assault.
Pretty much.
For
Or fucking
example-
murder if they succeed.
Yeah.
And murder if they succeed, or attempted murder. What's it called
I
again?
just-
It's not attempted murder. It's manslaughter.
No, we have attempted murder in now.
Yeah,
don't we?
I bugged NECA to re-add attempted murder because whoops, forgot about that. Whoopsie.
We really needed that. Like, thank you.
Didn't we
Yay.
remove that?
We had like so many arguments over that.
Yes, we I did a dumb and removed it and then I re-added it. Let's move along now.
As
One
a quick
second.
point, security. If you play security, be prepared to yell and argue, but know that there is no malice behind it. There really should not be. You're all here to play a game, and part of that game sometimes does involve a little bit of arguing, but it's all in friendly jest, you know? Don't ever take it
Well,
too seriously.
it's not always friendly, but don't leave the round thinking, oh, this person hates me, because no, they don't. They just hate the round. They don't hate you.
Yeah.
And I
Next
do rate his roleplay actually, by the way, because like I stress out a lot, but I never get like truly angry. I will convey anger through my security player sometimes though, because it's funny. Some of the shit he spouses out.
I get that sometimes.
I use Jonah.
No, my
Sean is such a fucking dick sometimes when he's pissed off.
Oh yes, he is.
Hmm. So let's move on to possession of a weapon, which is a big one.
Oh dear.
Fucking hell.
First up, anything that security uses classifies as a restricted weapon. This includes tasers, stun batons, pepper sprays, but not flashes, because flashes can be produced at robotics. But basically, anything from the armory, tasers, and stun batons, that's restricted. So that's another crime altogether.
Hatchets for
botanist
botanists
as well.
Fuck.
Basically,
Also-
any kind of weapon that is restricted to one department is restricted, not possession of a weapon. Possession of a weapon would be anything like, I don't know, stun prods, spears, axes?
The thing is with hatchets, though, is that there is the fucking, like, what's it?
Garden.
Yeah, garden.
Vote
Oh, that is
hatchet
true.
should not leave that
The
room.
public botany room thing.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
The
you can
hatchets
get
and-
them from there.
Should not leave that room. They should stay in that room. If you take them out of that room, I'll tell you, you should have left in that room.
This is one of the most popular things people argue about is the fucking hatchets. Because they are technically items for botanists, but technically because they are available in a room that has public access to the entire station, and technically hatchets should be available to the entire station, and therefore it shouldn't be charged for possession of a weapon under any circumstances. Despite the fact
To
that
be
they're
fair-
hatchets.
I
To be
would
very
still
honest-
say weapon.
It's context based. If someone is like using a hatchet for something related to the hatchet, that's one thing. But if you catch someone when they're trying to break into somewhere and then you find like a stun prod and a hatchet in their fucking inventory in their bag, then yeah. Context does really matter a lot when it comes to the hatchet because fucking public.
And obviously, if they're killing somebody with a hatchet, take that.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Assault and possession of a weapon. GG.
But... Okay, so anything else to add?
No.
What about Atmosians with the axe?
Alright. Atmosians have full access to the axe, with the caveat that they're meant to use it for Atmos shit only. And this means you get to use the hatchet to break into places, or break out of places, or kill Space Guard. As Dean is saying, and very well, the fucking axe stays in fucking Atmos until you fucking need it, and then it goes back in the fucking case when you're fucking done. God fucking damn it.
There's also an axe on the
Amen.
bridge, and the captain sometimes walks around with those, or
Yeah, the
he
captain
walks
can get
around.
fucked then.
Countless blue shields walk around with that axe.
Oh
It's
god.
called an, it's
One
called
of
an
them.
emergency. It's called an emergency case for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes, a wielded axe will kill and destroy any glass, even reinforced glass, with a single hit, as it will destroy grills as well. So, say you want to save someone from an Atmos contaminated area, or you want to vent an area that's being contaminated by plasma or something else, the axe is very useful for opening breaches you can then clean up. It should not be used, carried around as a personal trophy.
Fun fact, you can also use the fire axe as a crowbar.
That's so true.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, you need to wield it, and you can use it as a crowbar.
Neat.
You
Yeah.
still need access, but yeah, it's helpful.
Awesome. I think that covers everything. Let's move on to the next one. All right, that was
Kidnapping!
kidnapping. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god, this was
Disposal
another.
is not kidnapping. It is not kidnapping. Goddamn.
By the way, this is one of the other laws that was also added in the newer edition because people would argue that assault is part of kidnapping, and other people would say that kidnapping isn't qualified as assault and therefore isn't illegal. So eventually we caved in and we made kidnapping an actual charge.
I didn't cave in. For fuck's sakes, it was always my intention to make kidnapping a fucking charge, because kidnapping not being a charge is stupid. The fucking argument, oh, it's not in space law, so I can kidnap anyone legally, is retarded.
We called it assault, but then like people will say, hey, if I'm not causing damage, it's not assault.
Yeah, so then I said fuck you to the rules lawyers and made up kidnap. Ta-da!
Good job.
So what's interesting is if it's an illegal arrest, it counts as kidnapping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but realistically, you shouldn't be arresting them for doing that. You should probably that's more something that falls under the purview of standard operating procedure, and punch the officer through a different means, like maybe fire them.
Unless it's like blatantly obvious, like an officer
Yeah.
is arresting someone for literally no reason, and they're just bringing it to brig in cuffs. Then you can brig their ass and fire them.
Mm-hmm.
Indeedy.
Essentially,
So-
kidnapping can be anything from simple cable restraints and dragging off to welding someone in a locker and then putting a locker inside a room, to throwing someone into a room without an ID and then closing the door behind them, welding them into the room. Any way they can keep that person restricted in their movements against their will. If the person actually asked for it, for whatever fucking reason, then it's not kidnapping.
I'd like to also mention if, say, they don't have any legs or something like that, or if they're severely injured and you drag them away, yeah, that's kidnapping, because they have no means of basically fighting back. And unless you're moving them to maybe give them medical attention or something like that, that is kidnapping.
Or as Dean is saying, if you actually manage to defend yourself from someone who attacked you and use cable restraints, your job is to bring them to security immediately and not to a room when you can have fun with them.
Citizens
That
arrest.
Citizens arrest is not a thing. Well, it is a thing. If
Steal
Just
the pink fuzzy cuff
bring
from
them
security.
to security, it avoids so many issues.
So here's a quick question. There's my friend Purpose. He brought this up earlier, and I wanted to have see your guys' opinion on this. If you kidnap someone like unwillingly weld them in a locker or drag them around with cable cuffs, but you keep them in public areas and public hallways, does that count as kidnapping?
Yes, it does, because you're still restricting their movement.
Mhm.
You're locking them in the locker. They can't really they can resist out of that, but
You're locking them in your grip, essentially. Like, say if the clown slips somebody, slaps cable cuffs on them, and parades them through the hallways, yes, that is kidnapping.
I mean, the actual wording of the law, to hold a crew member under duress against their will. You're locking them in a locker against their will. That's kidnapping.
Shall we move on?
Awesome. All right, next one.
Rioting.
Rioting. I don't
I
think
have
I've
not
ever
seen this charge ever.
I
have
actually came very close to this one.
The last round, there was a massive riot, so.
Oh man.
I'd like to, can I share a story real quick? I feel it has some context here.
Sure
Go on.
Alright, so there was, this is a quite stupid charge, but we had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 Drasks in front of security, and they're just going like, the whale noise that they make, and they're right outside the Internal Affairs office. Now, naturally, anybody standing in front of security peeves security for some reason. Why I don't know, but people get pissed. And so there was talk about potentially arresting them for rioting. And I argued that even though, I mean, I was just rule lawyering here, but I argued that you could indeed arrest them for that if they were in the lobby preventing officers from doing their job. If they were in any way harming or preventing somebody from doing their job, then yes, it's rioting. But if
As it
they're just
says-
standing around, no. No.
Again, as it says here, to partake in an unauthorized and disruptive assembly. Rioting
yes.
actually has to stop people from being able to do their jobs properly. Like if you're
Really?
actually stopping doctors from healing people or stopping officers from going into security, if you're legitimately halting the process on the station, then it's a riot.
The only person security really needs to be arresting is the leader of the riot. They just don't have enough cells for absolutely everybody taking part in a riot.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
not to mention the actual crime itself is failing to disperse. If somebody starts a riot and then if you yell at them, all of you leave now or be arrested, and if they leave, then it's all good, unless they've been committing crimes for rioting.
I mean, if you actually ask them to leave and they do, it's not a crime. They just disperse because you're asked.
Just
course,
arrest the one yelling over common and leave the rest. They should just get bored after a few minutes and leave.
Also, remember, people standing in front of the bridge or the brig and just spamming scream, as annoying as it is not rioting. If all they're doing is spamming scream.
Just scream back at them.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's making it even worse.
Everyone is screaming.
All right. Was there anything else
Okay.
you want to talk about this, or actually, before that,
Well, there's the riot that happened just this shift.
I want to hear about this one. Yeah.
I'm back.
Well, as I was the mechanic, I didn't actually see very much of it, but from what I heard, there was a few like assistants, and one of them got their headset taken off. So someone else sort of got a group of people, and they were smashing the windows in front of the bridge and like smashing the brig windows as well.
Yeah,
That is rioting.
That's rioting.
And vandalism.
vandalism.
Depending, of course, if they actually break the windows and go in, it's breaking and entering into a restricted area.
Yeah,
Such
they actually
rioting,
got so
yeah.
bad that they called an ERT eventually.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, code red ERT.
it was fun to
For a
watch.
riot?
I certainly hope you help that, because that means some people are going to get banned.
Who?
I wasn't involved in it. I just heard it over comms.
The command for calling code red on freaking rioters or the rioters themselves? Because the rioters, I feel that's perfectly within IC guidelines. I mean, I would be okay with that.
No, there's a point after which you can tell it's no longer IC. It's
No,
just
he
people
was
trying to
talking about
riot for the sake of
ERT.
being shits.
There is definitely a point. It's kind of a thick line, but yeah, I do see your point
Whatever.
there.
Moving on.
Before we move on, because are you ready to move on? By the way.
think so.
Right. Quickly, because we got a bunch of new people in here, this is a little security mini meeting. Currently, we're talking about all of the space laws. Then we're going to talk about antags, and then we're going to answer some questions. If you have a question, please PM them to me, and we will get to them during the questions sort of section. And I'm going to read off the questions. If you want to say the questions over voice chat, make sure you send a message to me as well, stating that you want to say it over voice chat, and I'll go ahead and unmute you. And okay, that's just for everyone that just came in. Let's move on to creating a workplace hazard, because this is an interesting one.
Oh my god.
I
Love this
love
one.
this one. I love this
Similar
one.
to Samus.
So much shit applies here, it's not even funny.
All right. And I think that creating a workplace hazard and like sabotage get mixed up quite a bit. So
Mhm.
so the
The
definition.
difference here, I believe, is that sabotage is intentionally doing something with the intention of harming the station, whilst workplace hazard has to be unintentional and dangerous. Basically, the result of either incompetence or apathy.
It's like,
Like,
the
for example-
manslaughter was sabotage.
Like, for example, an engineer fixing a door and leaving it electrified and not bothering to fix it.
And also, by the way, I won't really quickly mention this. For anyone that hacks any of the vendors just so that they can unlock the upgrade the vendors in order to get stuff like Zippo lighters or extra stuff from the Pro Lathe and stuff like that, I do not count that as creating a workplace hazard or sabotage, because that
Unless they leave
Nah.
the thing shocked.
unless they leave this thing shocked, because they're just upgrading a thing. Why is that a crime?
Shocked or if it throws stuff at people.
Yeah, if it's shocked or throwing stuff, that's workplace hazard. If you actually
Exactly.
hack it properly, then not really.
Well, I mean, if somebody touches it while the person's on the ground shaking because they touched the shocked wire, then that's not really.
Yeah, context, please.
Bees. Oh god, bees. I want to mention bees. If you're a botanist and if you want to make bees, if those motherfuckers get out and if you don't do anything to make sure that they don't get
Creating a
out,
workplace hazard.
That's on you. In fact, I will preemptively arrest your ass if you make bees that have drugs, because that's just an accident waiting to happen.
bath
Like, if
salt
you make-
bees. What the
If
fuck,
you make
man?
bath salt bees or crank bees or meth bees, that's just asking for an accident.
Hey, totally.
You're responsible for your bees.
Screw
If
you.
somebody breaks in and the bees gets out, that's your fault.
Hey, totally.
There's still some
Those-
things on this law that I'd like to talk about because it's a very widespread law, I feel.
Oh yes,
Uh,
it is.
Yes, it is.
My briefcase full of bees should solve this.
Oh god, no.
What's
Space
this?
lube. Space lube is workplace hazard if I ever did damn see one. Especially
Wait,
if you're
wouldn't
spraying
that be
it in front of
sabotage, though?
security. I've been tempted to arrest for sabotage, but I'm not that much of a dick.
Honestly, depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it to deliberately trip people and steal shit from them, like security during a chase, then yeah, I will add sabotage to your fucking list.
Mhm.
But if you're
Indeed.
just the clown looping people up, that's workplace hazard.
Yeah. It depends on the intent, malicious or non-malicious. Like having lube as a thing. By the way, I also want to mention lube. Is it okay to confiscate lube? Because it doesn't technically count as a weapon.
I
I
would
will.
confiscate
I
it.
confiscate
I
it.
will
It's
confiscate it.
it's a
If
weapon on
it's-
its own because it causes damage.
It doesn't
Think
cause
about it
damage
this way.
anymore.
You can die on lube.
It doesn't anymore. It doesn't cause damage.
Does it?
No,
Oh.
but you are stunned for at least 5 seconds, and during those 5 seconds, god damn, motherfucker,
The
you
clown
are
can do a lot of
dead.
shit to you.
It's the same as the tools, though. If they use it for a crime, it's evidence, so just take it on that.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
of it like
that's
pepper
true.
spray. You know, pepper spray is just a spray bottle, just a different sprite. If you want to simplify it that way, you know, a spray bottle with lube, I do consider to be, well, not a weapon per se, but I will confiscate the fuck out of it unless you can prove yourself to be competent. You know,
It's a potentially dangerous tool that can become dangerous depending on use.
There is a thing on SOP for the clown, yeah, but it specifically states that if it interferes with anything like healing people or with security stuff, then they can get brewed for it.
Pretty much.
Lube on its own is completely harmless, and you have to treat it like banana peel. It's only a major issue if it's a danger to people when they harm people. If you have a
Yeah.
grenade outside of chem or side chem, you're already breaking the law. That's true.
indeed.
Yeah, again, it depends on what you use it for. If you're just slipping people, you're a shit, but whatever. If you're slipping people next to a blob or nukies, that's a whole different thing.
It says on the wiki like a banana peel in the corridor is not, but it is if it's in front of the singularity. That
Yeah, exactly.
in a
Pretty
nutshell.
much.
And
But I
yeah,
was only slipping them.
and using like lube in order to like prevent security from if you're using it to like deliberately stop security from chasing you, that's resisting arrest and technically sabotage, I would say. Depends on the context you're using the lube. So is there anything else that you want to talk about in regards to workplace hazard?
How about banana grenades?
Banana grenades, those cause damage.
Yeah, I've
Those
died
do.
on
Those
Those
are-
do.
Those
Pipex
kind of
Tiny.
pranks, though.
One once.
Wait, you what? Really?
Yeah, banana grenades do damage.
Congratulations. I will
Do
say.
crazy amount of damage as well.
I think
They
that
think
I
so.
consider
one of the officers, Rashik, he managed to find a banana grenade in the in maintenance. He used it. He got someone killed, and he got demoted because of it.
Yeah, I remember.
wow,
Also, you
that's
see why
pretty
they
funny
spawn in
actually.
lanes if they're like hilariously lethal if you use them right.
Pipex Tiny's saying it now in all caps in the chat.
Yeah.
He murdered me with one. He was actually trying to take me to medical, and he dragged me back.
Bananas are not jokes, boys.
God fucking damn it, Dave.
We've done it again.
Alright, should we move on then?
All right. Anything
do.
else?
Petty thing.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. And the next one is petty theft. To take items from an area that does not have authority access. Yeah, and taking surgery tools would count as petty theft if you are even if you are a doctor because you're taking items that belong to the area away and they're important items. It does specify that in the notes.
Remember, just because you have access does not mean you get to take shit for yourself.
Mhm.
Basically, if you're taking medicine from medbay, tools from medbay, if you're taking shit away from engineering, if you're taking stuff from cargo, if it doesn't get to the point where you're stealing highly restricted access materials such as weaponry or, I don't know, command level shit like the chain of command, then
Hard
it
suits.
falls under petty theft.
Hard suits, I feel, fall under theft, not petty theft, because there is a
Yes.
limited supply, and they are very important to. Say, if you steal a miner's hard suit, well, what's a miner going to do? You know, you can't mine without one unless mechanics builds you a pod.
It depends entirely on availability of access and how important the things are. So if you're stealing something like a hard suit or a soft suit, because there's a hard cap on how much of that stuff you can have, then it's theft. But if you're stealing, say, a medical kit, you can just keep ordering more and more and more from cargo as long as you have points. So it's just petty theft.
Yeah.
The CMO
Actually-
stamp causes a restricted one. You need to break into a restricted area, and it's something that can do a lot of damage in the right hands. Assuming, of course, anyone actually plays the CMO any respect, which they don't.
Quick, best CMO.
CMOs are not useless. I main CMO for the entire month of February. Fight me later, Kaverick. Alright, anything else for petty theft?
Pretty self-explanatory.
It really is, yeah.
Good.
Breaking and entry. I thought it was breaking and entering.
It should be breaking and entering, is it not?
It's breaking and entry.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
it's-
entry and entering mean the same thing,
Damn.
guys. We can get over
God
this.
damn it!
Get entry.
Oh dear.
Fucking get it together.
Basically, breaking windows and then going in, breaking walls and then going in, hacking doors and then going in, making secret doors and then going in, blowing up walls and then going in.
It says on the notes that they can still be charged with it even if they do not enter the area themselves.
Yeah, that's an
Pretty
important one.
Pretty self-explanatory. It's intent here. You obviously broke two reinforced windows in the grill to get into that place.
You had clear intentions to do it. Yeah.
Even
I
if
think
they
that
put
this is,
back the window, it should be counted too.
this is
I
actually
mean, I've
one
done
of
it a lot.
this is one of
Holy
few
shit,
laws
the
I think.
fucking lights just went out. Oh my god, fucking spirits.
Beautiful. I think this is one of the few
Spooky.
laws like where intent actually plays a huge part in it. I don't think that a lot of the other laws have that sort of thing. It's sort of like the thing has to happen, the crime has to happen in order for the arrest to be made. Meanwhile, breaking and entering, if you're
Honestly-
trying to, yeah.
Medium and below kind of go on intent.
There are a lot of crimes that are just purely based off intent.
Also, there's one place I really don't give an absolute shit if you're breaking an entry, and that's the
Assembly
what's it
line.
called?
The assembly line. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one
nobody
gives a
cares
fuck
about
about this.
that.
Fuck that
Well,
place.
you-
Breaking all you want. It never
never
gets used. It doesn't have anything important in it aside from welding oils.
It's
Fucking-
just for like
And,
building a
uh,
shop as engineers
Excuse me,
anyway.
it has a tool belt in it.
It does.
And the surgery table.
And
And
the
goggles.
goggles.
It's like
Okay.
the vault for Grey Tiders.
It has a surgery table actually.
It
Like
has
glass
a
steel.
toolbox.
Yeah, but it's a guaranteed spawn, Lorenzo. Like
Fucking toolbox, ban it.
there's actually the tool belt in the pod bay and escape
You
that
can-
no one ever gets for some reason.
You can just make a tool belt at the rival's garden anyway.
It's
Nobody
also
uses the
Russian there.
biogenerator, man. It always makes me
I
kinda
do.
sad. That
I
thing-
didn't even know that
Biogenerator's great.
existed.
If you
Right.
ask the bonus, they'll usually comply. But anyways, should we move on?
Awesome. The last
Abuse.
medium crime.
Oh boy.
It's my favorite!
Abuse of confiscated equipment. That means all trader items, all evidence. Holy shit.
Let's talk about syndicate comms then.
Let's talk about combat gloves.
Oh my god.
Tully was waiting for this one.
Oh, such a motherfucking headache we've had. I have had so many PM conversations with entitled as shit heads of security who just demand to be able to use this regardless of context.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it depends entirely on 1, how you do it, 2, when you do it, and 3, for what you use it. Am I going to give you shit because you're actively using combat gloves? Not really. Am I going to give you shit if you take syndicate comms and put it on one of your officers so they can actively spy on syndicate communications? No. That's really on the fault of the goddamn traitor. They used syndicate comms knowing they could get caught, and it's only a logical choice for the security to at least try to see if anyone's there. However, am I going to give you shit for using a hollow parasite injector or an e-sword? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Because
It's a
you
shame,
have
though, to be honest.
absolutely no fucking excuse to use this beyond, I have this, is my toy now. I want to use, yes? Yeah. That's the only reason here. You do not need, as security, revolvers, Stetchkins, briefcases full of bees, holoparasite injectors, or e-swords. You don't need these
Briefcases full of
things.
bees do tend to make things better.
Of course.
Bees.
As is being said, if it's an extreme circumstance, say a major blob that shows up, and you're like, you know what, we have 3 swords in storage, then sure. But if you just want to use it for your own goddamn fucking enjoyment, like, oh, I caught this holoparasite injector and it's not used, I want my own stand, I want to use it. No. It depends entirely on context and what the item is, to be very honest.
I will say though, if the station is say overrun by Xenos, I'm not gonna fault you for pulling out the Sketchkin to defend yourself.
Yeah, me neither. Again, if the station is being overrun by xenomorphs or blobs or war deck nukies or whatever, just
Anything goes.
bring everything out, essentially.
The key word here is abuse.
Awesome.
Should we move on?
All right.
Yeah.
So we are going into major crimes now. Just to let you guys know, if
Wait, before we go.
Oh, Ace had a
Using,
good question.
using an EMAG, regardless of circumstances, that's abuse. There is no
Okay.
good use for an EMAG,
Even
period.
on your healer?
Other than the compliant.
Okay, apart from using it on your Hailer, no.
Fuck you, shit ass. Piss me
No,
off, shit.
no, fuck you guys
Yeah,
at fucking
every time.
EMAG Halos. God fucking damn it.
Turk your
I love
shit,
you.
silly ass
Ace
on.
Luke had a good question about using a traitor's open uplink.
No.
no.
That's bad. That's a no-no.
Do
No,
not
no,
touch
no,
an
no,
open
no,
up
no.
link.
You know what you do with an open uplink? You leave it open and you put it in the fucking evidence locker.
That's evident.
You don't touch it. Yeah.
All right.
Unless you get
Tell the captain.
direct
Or you
permission
buy
by
a
central
balloon or
command.
something.
Yeah, okay, if
Just
you buy like
to
a balloon,
spite it.
okay, we will make an exception for the non-contraband badassery shit, like cards or balloons. If you manage to get if you get yourself an uplink with 20 TCs and you're the head of security, I will give you karma for buying a balloon and carrying around the entire round, just to piss everyone off.
Yeah.
I
Actually-
would love to see a head of security get arrested for that.
Maybe non-contraband items from the uplink should be just
Yeah, yes,
allowed to buy. To be
basically
purchased.
that.
Okay.
Unless, of
So
course, you're being massively corrupt, but whatever. Moving on.
Soap for everyone. Why not?
I want to move on real quick. I want to ask everyone here because we are currently at major crimes. It has been 53 minutes. We're going fairly slow. So I'm not sure how long we won't go on for, but I also ask you guys now, do we want to... We're going to go through the rest of the crimes, obviously. Like, we've gone halfway through. We're not going to stop at this point. But do we want to hear about how we're going to handle separate antags, or do we want to go straight to questions? I'm asking that to the chat. Just say yes or no. Like, move on straight to questions? Or do you want to talk about antags?
I'm thinking antags are actually really important. We probably should.
We
Do
could
you-
probably do them briefly, to be honest.
I think we'll just get questions about antags, so either way.
That's a good
easy.
point.
Shadowlings don't go into main. Traitors just a valid hunt them the whole round.
I'm counting 3, 4. Well, actually, no. Hold on a second. Damn it! Just say yay or nay. This is hard
We're
to count.
spending more time on this than we are actually doing.
That's
work.
true.
Yay for questions, nay for antags.
Alright, seems like it's in favor of yes.
We'll ask about this again after we go through all the major crimes. I think we're just going to have a straw poll if anyone wants to set that up, please. That'd be
I'll do
great.
Let's just keep going
Yeah,
while we're
that'll
doing
help.
this,
So we'll
please.
keep going then. Possession of
Yeah.
contraband, and this is a fucking massive
This
one.
is one I spent so fucking long. You know why this thing is so fucking big on the law screen? Is because me and Freestyle have spent literally 5 fucking hours going over the wording of this. And then I spent 3 extra hours going through this with NECA. So everything is explicit. It's written right there. You go to the contraband page, no discussion. Fuck.
And somehow people still fuck it up. So, Dully, talk about the wording behind this.
Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty! Fuck.
You need to
Okay.
write us a 10-page essay on
Okay,
every
okay,
single
okay.
item.
Okay,
Okay, hold
Officer.
on, hold on. First of all, anything listed in the contraband page is not contraband, does not go into the thing. Secondly, the 2 contraband equals 1 syndicate thing does not apply for non-contraband items. So no, you cannot break someone as an EOC because they had soap and a silencer. You need to have 2 Cs, period, or more, whatever. Secondly, no, you cannot execute someone if you brig them for being an EOC if they had only contraband. Which means if you found someone with a silencer and... Let me get an example here. Let's say you found someone with a meat cleaver and a Stetchkin. That makes them an EOC. You cannot execute them if they did not actually use it and if they just had it. Alright? It's an exception-y sort of law. For the love of God, read the small print. It's right there. It's all there. Christ. I'm crying.
I'm sorry.
EMP flashlight.
Stats, you're gonna have to turn yourself up.
Next one.
This one. Is there any more contention? And also, yeah, the straw poll's up. Counter just posted it. Go ahead and vote there, please.
I don't think there's any questions to this one. I mean, it's got its own wiki page, so.
Kidnapping of an officer. We kind of went over kidnapping already. Kidnapping of an officer just means that it applies to anybody that is CC, security, etc. You know, we
Yeah,
already went
command.
over this.
It's like
It's
the
kidnapping
old
the
assault
important
officer.
people.
Assault of an
Uh,
officer. We already went over that too.
Yep, pretty much.
Basically,
Well,
the
Well,
same
actually,
thing.
regarding the assault of an officer, it does say in the fine print that disarming counts as assault when it comes to assault of an officer, but it doesn't count as normal assault under a medium crime for general crew.
This is something I wanted to fucking destroy for so long because people will attempt to rules lawyer the shit out of this. He disarmed me once. That's assault of an officer. No, it's not. Fuck you. You're security.
Oh yeah. I've been bricked for that. Like additional 15 minutes. God
I
damn.
think
If
assault of an
you- if
officer
you do
should
it
be
during-
reworded because of
If you
this.
do it while
Yes.
being arrested,
Yeah, it says while fleeing from a crime.
If they're trying to knock you over to steal something from you, or if they're like actually punching you in the face or whacking you or something, then yeah, fucking get them. If they're the clown and if they're, I don't know, honking you for horn, okay,
mean-
if they're honking you for horn, do not arrest them.
I know, Dean.
It's,
I know, Dean.
It's like almost impossible to get away from an officer without like disarming them or pushing them at least once. At least as a distraction.
This is something I need to go and expunge. Next one.
Aggravated
Go for the next one?
assault.
Aggravated assault, yeah.
If they need to go to medbay and get surgery, it's aggravated assault.
If you break the shit out of their face, that's aggravated assault. If their internal organs are turned into pulp, it's turned into aggravated assault.
if they walk
If they
away
go
as
into
assault,
critical.
if they get
This is an odd law because this kind of violence usually edges between rules, you know, rule breaking and law.
Yeah.
But it's still legit for antagonists to do this, especially
So
for
we'll
the
talk about it.
break a bone thing. Is that
Didn't they
still
remove
objective?
that objective?
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, God
Shame.
fucking-
Oh,
That was
I
the
like that
easiest green
objective.
text.
It was broken, so yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
broken,
I
but
know what you see once, it was hilarious. Just knocked the head off and that was
I
it.
should probably try and do this one at a time.
But yes,
Now they
if
can
it's to
understand.
such a fucking degree that your person that you're attacking is kind of teetering in the edge of life and death and they need intensive medical help, then yes, it's aggravated assault.
So basically everything involving the breaking bones, card crit, and stuff like that.
I would call blinding for the sake of blinding them aggravated assault. Like if you're calling the first
Wait,
face.
don't we have attempted murder for that
Yes,
situation?
please.
Actually?
Well, yeah, but like if they were going in there with the intent to blind them and not the intent to kill them, I believe that would be aggravated assault.
Again, it's the whole intent thing. If you shoot someone with a revolver 3 times and they don't die, it's obviously attempted murder. If you escalate a verbal fight into a crowbar to the face, that's aggravated assault. At least from my standing.
And yeah, I want to mention this because Dean brought up a very good point. If the main difference between aggravated assault and regular assault is just depending on how much treatment they get, because surgery is going to take you out of the round and waste a lot of time, like maybe like several minutes in order to fix everything up. And that is sort of the catalyst between the difference between assault and aggravated assault. If it takes 2 seconds to heal up through the med fridge, then it's just normal assault. If it takes surgery or a long time for treatment, it's aggravated assault.
Next up.
Possession
Okay,
of a
okay.
restricted weapon.
I think we already talked about this one. The difference
Yeah, we
between
did.
Yeah, we did. For anyone that wasn't here,
Guns,
restricted.
battens.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know. We even talked it when we were talking about possession of a weapon just before. I mean, this is basically possession of a weapon, only it extends to stuff like armory guns, R&D guns, security equipment, anything that comes from an ERT, basically anything like that.
Awesome. All right.
If you can't get it in your job, then you're not supposed to have it.
I've got a question actually. If a scientist is taking the scary guns out and about in the hallway, is that
No, that's not it. They're transporting it to security.
But if they're
security
not-
Unless if you're not, then it is possession of
Well,
restricted.
yeah, if you're just carrying the weapons for no reason, just for yourselves, then yes, possession of a restricted weapon.
Because
Yes,
most of
yes.
the times, security doesn't actually fucking get half the shit they make.
We don't
Right,
need
Toe? Should we move on? Any questions?
I think we're ready to move on.
Possession of explosives.
And that's possession, not using. I think using separate. Actually, is using a separate crime?
It's
Using
basically
would
counts
be
as sabotage or
sabotage.
grand sabotage.
Good
Or
point.
assault.
Bombing,
Or
yeah,
assault.
bombing
murder.
is grand sabotage. And by the way,
IEDs.
IEDs, like do we count those as
They are
explosives or
explosives.
weapons? They're explosives. Okay.
They're explosives.
They are explosives,
They're
yeah.
They're just
IEDs.
really
It's in the
crap
name.
They're
I'm
just
talking like the
crap
ones that just like
explosives.
cause fire.
Improvised
They're
explosive
not
device.
good explosives, but they're
But they're still explosives.
Okay.
They can still
Unless you use them
take
with like a
limbs
welding
off.
tank, then they're pretty
Yeah.
deadly.
I'll say like that welding tanks would more count as sabotage if you did it.
I've done it a
intentionally.
few times where you wheel up the welding tank and then throw the IED at it. That's not just a basic crime, really.
That would be grand
That's
sabotage if you used it though. Like it's the difference between transporting explosives and using explosives. And by the
Also,
way, keep noting exceptions.
As indicated, scientists and miners are permitted to carry if they're using it for their job. So if the toxins guy is testing bombs, or the miner is using toxins bombs to mine out large areas, that does not fall under this law.
Honestly, at which point would a scientist be required to take the bombs outside of science for testing purposes?
If you want
They're
If they're
transporting
No.
them to mining. I don't know.
Yeah, onto the mine.
Mining, but that never happens.
Which never happens.
Yeah.
They
doesn't
never
happen.
forgive anyone anything.
I had it happen
Hmm.
once. It was the
And once
greatest
as a miner
fucking
asked for
idea
it
I've
and
ever
got
had.
denied. So
Dean does also have a good point. Toxins bombs can be used to murderize xenos and blobs.
Remember,
Though
like
for the
once.
love of
I mean,
God,
if we
ask before using them.
Alright, if there are Xenos or a blob on station, why are you arresting somebody? Kill
yeah,
'em.
nobody
Exactly.
gives a shit about that law anymore.
2
Jesus
points
Christ.
Shouldn't be
about-
want to make.
doing whatever, man.
For massive explosions, this is an OOC thing. Help about that kind of stuff. Most of the time, if the context makes sense, we will approve it. But we need to know about explosions before you use them. Okay? Please
Otherwise,
help
we
about
get a
them.
great big. Because
Also,
otherwise,
like,
we got a really big warning. Explosion size has happened somewhere.
And then we
if
fucking
don't know
panic.
exactly where it is, we get very iffy.
We just get a huge hole in the station,
Yeah.
honestly.
There was
And
the
we're
guy
like, what the
who
shit?
do not use bombs to fight blobs. It doesn't work. It's
Actually-
never-
Flashbangs are probably better.
yeah.
Flashbangs
Flashbangs
work.
work. Bombs will
Way
just kill the people
Please
fighting
don't
the
use
bomb.
flashbangs. Please don't.
Yeah,
Unless you're fighting it
No,
by
use
yourself.
the flashbangs, but make sure civilians are out of the fucking way.
Yes.
Flank
It's
the
their
blob
fault
and
if they
then
run in
use
there.
flashbangs.
I
But
think that we
most of
should
them won't
hold on.
move.
Well, let's talk about how we're going to take care of blobs when we get to Antag session, because I think that we're going to be talking about Antags judging by the
Yes.
poll. By the way, here's the poll just for anyone that's going to repost the poll here. Okay, good, thank you. There, vote for that
Next
because we're taking a lot of
One
time.
thing
What
on
have
the
we-
explosives, though, like as an example, I've seen when there was a Mouth AI, we were sort of in the chamber. We got past the turrets, we were about to kill it, and some scientists just threw a max cap in there.
Did it work?
No, the AI was killed before the max cap. He just killed everyone in the room.
Amazing. I mean, technically the round's over, so hey.
Well, you
Alright.
threw it before the round was over, then
It's
the
the
AI
thought
died,
that
then it
counts.
blew up.
Alright, never mind. Let's go to inciting a riot, because I do arrest people more for inciting a riot than the rioting charge. And that is like calling
falls
over
under-
comms, stuff like that.
You can't really fit the entire
This-
riot.
this-
Great Tide Worldwide is inciting a riot. I will hold to that. If you are trying to get people to Great Tide, I'm gonna arrest your fucking ass, man.
It falls under the whole logic of arrest the head of the riot and the rest of the riot goes away. The head of the snake should get the 15 minutes, the body should get 10. Usually you're going to get these people because they got arrested for 5 minutes and they can't handle it, so they start to try and shit all over everyone.
I have
Also,
a
do keep
question,
in
though.
mind, if someone is just saying riot or rise up and no one's really doing anything, this is not inciting a riot. If they're just running their mouth, take their headsets off. It's when they're actually being serious about this and arming people or gathering in groups.
Trying to break
then
into the
you
armory.
start fighting stuff.
It's
Or
when they're
that.
successful that you act on it.
Yeah,
But-
pretty much.
What if a riot gets incited, right, by someone, and it gets asked to be dispersed, and they actually disperse?
You leave them alone. Or I think you
Wouldn't
still
leader
honestly-
still be charged with the crime because
Honestly,
he
I
incited
wouldn't-
the riot?
I would not actually charge the people with rioting, but depending on how the original inciter behaves, I might actually incite them. I mean, they got a riot there. They
Good.
obviously wanted the riot to happen. It's not their fault that the rest of the rioters just dispersed when asked.
A lot of the time, if they all disperse, especially if the head disperses, and then you're arrested for inciting a riot, the riot's just going to come back because they're going to have a new reason to riot.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Context, context, contest. Tell ya.
Next up.
Alright, and see you, Pusin.
Sabotage.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Sabotage. We did touch sabotage when we were talking about workplace hazard. The main difference between the two of them, one's not malicious, one's malicious.
It's all about
Deliberately
intent.
poking holes in the station. Honestly, I would say that just cutting 1 or 2 random wires in maintenance is not really sabotage. It'd be vandalism. But if you're cutting very specific wires that cut off powers to entire departments, such as
Oh,
at workplace and
God.
security, then yeah.
This mass wire.
You gotta
Hey
mention-
guy, let's make a space station and put an entire department dependent on a single fucking wire.
Yeah, security is the
always fun.
easiest place to sabotage power from. It's so easy.
At least you know where to look when the power's out.
Dean's
It's
saying
true.
that every main wire cuts off at a time.
Not necessarily. Depends entirely on where they are.
Cargo
Dean,
does
please
one
stop
wire.
spamming, man.
Maybe,
Yeah, there are
maybe
2 branches.
Depends on where you cut the wire. If you cut the wire next to a single APC, then it's not really sabotage, now is it? It's
Oh, I'd like to
vandalism,
mention-
basically.
Building walls, that I think I counts as sabotage. Like if you're building a wall in the hallway, you're literally blocking somebody from doing their job. I mean, like, come on.
It's a barricade.
That is definitely sabotage in my book.
Also, this is something that I have to point out. Even though, technically speaking, breaking a single wall into space is grand sabotage, I will slap the shit out of you for doing that. It's a single window, just do sabotage. Jesus.
I mean, we might
These
that
are the
would
things
count
you
as
should
like
probably
poking holes in the
specify
station.
then.
I
Depends
would
on
put that in the
the
wall,
scenario, but-
honestly.
Kavrik has a point about building walls and hallways.
Well, it falls under sabotage as long as if you're
When
hindering
there's
someone.
people who build sort of areas and block entire bits of the station off, just arrest them and tell them there's a part in Arrivals called, like, you know, the vacant offices that they can do that in.
Yeah.
It just doesn't get enough attention.
If they're building something in the hallway and if it doesn't completely block it off, then I'll be fine. But if it blocks it off, I might tell them to go knock it off and maybe make a path so then people can get through. Because if
Like
I
the
can't get
engineering
from
hallway.
Oh, I
Yes.
hate it when people do
Every
that.
single engineer goes, no, this is my kingdom now.
Especially as the mechanic when you can't get out now because you don't have engineering access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just trapped in there.
Do you remember the time that engineering actually built a shit ton of airlocks in maintenance and in the hallways and
Yes.
claimed it was their maintenance? They're gonna wall it off.
That's fucking stupid.
Didn't
I
fucking
arrested that guy 5 times.
didn't
was a
CC
bad
actually
time.
try and like declare them as like not part of NT anymore when they did?
I don't even know.
Possible.
Next up,
Let's move on. Yeah. Major tourist. Oh no, it's theft. Sorry, theft. Right? Yeah, it's theft. And that is things such as space packs, space suits, and jetpacks.
It's like petty theft, but worse.
if you're stealing
That's
an
basically
item,
what he-
if you're stealing an item that has a hard cap on the number that exists, or that is in an incredibly restricted location, like for example the armory, the bridge, or EVA or EVA, whatever, then it counts as theft. It's the importance of the item itself, basically.
Also, another thing I want to point out that cargo breaking open crates to illegally arm themselves are guilty of theft, and I think that
That's what Dean said.
That's a
cargo
question,
when they
actually.
break open crates, it depends on the severity of the thing they're opening as well. Like if they're breaking open crates to get like surgery tools for whatever fucking reason, that doesn't make any sense. Hang on a second. Is there any better example?
Fucking.
If you're in cargo and you start opening crates of like combat shotguns with pellets, first off, that's possession of a restricted weapon. Secondly, I wouldn't even charge them for theft. I would just charge them for the possession. They didn't really steal it. They just opened it against the wishes
paid
of
for it.
security.
They paid for it with points.
I was looking at it as theft because that's what it says in the notes, and I think that the best solution for that overall would be to fire them.
Pretty much.
Now, here's a question: would defibs fall under this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
feel it.
defibs are
You
important.
can't make any more of them.
Yeah, there are only 2 of them, and you can buy any more of them.
There's like 4 or 5, right?
There's
There's
four-
Oh, wait,
two
yeah.
in the storage, 2 in the storage, 1 in each ER.
Yeah,
four.
and
OR.
the surgeries.
I'm
Also
assuming
the
they have
SCM one.
Although science can print them.
Can science actually do with that? Really?
Science can actually make
Why do they
defibrillators,
never
but
do that?
Oh yeah,
Should
that-
we, should
the
we have
defibrillators
Dean?
are very expensive and they're particularly high tech on medical. So most of the time they never get used. But they're still very restricted items because 1, you can use them to bring people back to fucking life, and 2, if there's no R&D, there's no way replacing them.
You can also use them to kill people very effectively.
Also true. Oh right, because defibrillators
Magna?
need silver.
Oh, EMP.
I think.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, should we go over to major trespass now?
No
This one
need,
is-
because major trespass in B&E restricted area is basically trespass in B&E except in restricted areas.
And
There's
it
always
does
the thing where,
list
like-
there which one is major trespass and which one isn't.
Does anybody in
Security-
the chat have any questions about them? Just just for clarifications about which areas are restricted or not, maybe.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
there's always the
basically does
thing
say
where. So I play Blue Shield a lot. Well, I used to anyway. And people just walk onto the bridge, and I'm not going to like have them arrested for grand trespass. We just say get
Oh
off.
fucking god!
The gateway, fuck, man.
I
You
am
are not
American.
entitled to the gateway. It is a restricted area for a reason.
If the airlock is blue or red, it's generally restricted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can people
Just because the head of personnel is more than happy to give you access to it does not mean you get to assume you have access to it and demand it. So if you break in after they tell you no, you still get arrested.
Can people late join into the gateway or from the gateway? Is that a feature? Was that merged?
No.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think it. I haven't seen anyone late join from the gateway
That's
ever.
like the markers on the map. They're on the map. They're in the code. I'm not sure if they're in use. So you can make it so people could late join in the gateway.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's
Maybe
new
we
for
should
me.
I don't think that's
implement that. It'd be interesting.
Well, we'd have to remove the access requirement on the
Yeah.
gateway.
Yeah.
It's tough. Let's not talk about that now.
That would
That's
help
something
as well,
separate.
because the amount of people
Yeah, let's get on to a tangent.
Yeah, B&E
Let's,
of a
move
restricted
on then.
area is the same, so we're going to capital crimes now, right?
Oh dear.
The fun ones.
So
The
before we
fun
actually
crimes.
get into the crimes, let's talk about permanent sentences, executions, and the cyber organizations. Permanent labor camp is nothing that we ever do. We never use labor camp. You shouldn't use labor camp.
Do not
Labor
use
camp
it,
is
please
awful,
don't.
and you should feel awful for using it.
Isn't there like an energy cutlass on that as well somewhere?
There is a built-in escape route with a space pod.
Okay.
There we go.
Maybe it should be remapped.
Here's the deal. Even with the remapped permabrig, I honestly prefer to cyborgify people if I can or if they ask.
Yeah.
Because at least they get to contribute to the round meaningfully and not just, I don't know, make shrooms to get high off in perma.
There's always actually there's a point there with what they request to happen to them.
Exactly.
So there's the people who say the captain says put them in perma, and they're like, no, don't put me in perma, borg me, and the captain like makes you put them in perma because they're just going to disconnect from the server.
I mean, an
Pretty much.
Anteg might actually have a plan for perma. He might
That is also true.
intentionally trying to get in there.
For context, there was actually this one time where a prisoner, an antagonist, deliberately went into perma with a uplink implant to stash weapons for another person who had been caught so they could break out together.
That's fantastic.
That's
Yep.
really cool.
As long as that wasn't meta, then that's fine.
They actually had, I think it was a traitor changeling. I think.
Oh right,
Ooh.
that's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
e-
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. Whatever. It was coordinated IC'ly. It was fucking amazing.
Nice.
Regardless,
Okay.
anything. This is an important thing. Technically speaking, legal executions are firing squad, execution by electric chair, or lethal injection. Now, it also says that any other means of execution is murder. However, I should stress this point. If a prisoner requests a particular type of execution that does not involve gross violation of space law or standard operating procedure, then I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't really mind as long as it's not like a duel to the death with someone.
Turned into a
Trial by
burger.
combat.
I wish we
You
could
know,
do trial by
funny
combat.
enough, that has happened before.
I
Yes,
honestly wish we
yes.
had that as illegal executions. Really,
No.
It should
No
be
trial by
legal.
combat.
Oh.
it would be fun. It'd be a fun way to win the rounds.
Yeah.
What
the
if-
trial by combat
What if you have two people to be executed and they both want to
Yeah,
fight each
do
against
that.
each other, and then the
Gladiators.
winner just gets the chair?
Yeah,
Also,
that's how it should work.
the prisoner was stunned before the fight, and then the blue shield just beat him to death in the ring.
That's great, man.
Was the blue shield rent by any chance?
Anyway,
Excuse me, what?
we're getting sidetracked. Let's move along.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, really quickly, only the magistrate, captain, head of security, and warden can authorize a permanent sentence, and only the magistrate or captain can authorize an execution or forced cyber organization. Right?
Keep in mind, if you're the warden, and you catch someone who has done capital crimes or is worthy of capital crimes, it's unless they're a Vox or something. If you can't put them in perma, just put them in perma. It's much faster. It's much simpler. And if you want to change the sentence, you can talk to someone. But if you're being swamped, and if you're the warden, you have full authority to just plant them in perma.
But please
And if-
update records when you do
yeah.
it.
Yes.
Nobody's giving you a fucking answer of what you're supposed to do with a prisoner. Just put him in perma.
Yeah, but you can always ask for an execution later.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of perma, I have a thing. If perma gets blown the fuck up, please move your prisoners. Don't just let them stay dead in space.
Yes.
As efficient as that may be.
Please.
Actually, now you mentioned that, there's a thing in the what's it called? The modifiers. Like if you're in break and the normal part of break, rested, say there's a leak or something on
Spiders.
fire, spiders, anything. Technically, you can run and be fine by that. You can run away from break. It's the what's it called?
It's the intent that counts.
No, the name of the modifier.
Oh,
I think it's escape from break.
Immediate
yeah.
threat to prisoner.
yeah.
What that?
Immediate threat
Yeah,
to
that's
prisoner.
it.
Yeah. Escape from break is
Alright.
resetting the timer.
Is there anything else we want to talk about, like just with handling permanent sentences, or do we want to go into the laws?
Let's just read the laws.
Let's just read the laws, yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
All right. Murder, manslaughter, slaughter, attempted murder. I think we should talk about these three all together.
All right, murder is the simplest. You done killed this person.
Good job.
I mean, murder is literally murder requires intent. It's one thing to beat someone with a crowbar because we're incredibly pissed off. They were not dead. You walked off, but then that person ended up dying. That would be manslaughter. Murder would be beating the shit out of someone until they stop breathing
And
then
watching
you
them
walk
die.
off. Yeah, pretty much. Murder
One thing I want to
requires
make a point of here is on the wiki for the laws, that guy is clearly intending to kill him on the picture for attempted murder.
Yeah, I mean, if you pull a gun on someone, that's
killing
pretty
you right
clear.
now.
Even if they're not dead, if they're not dead, it's attempted murder. But if you pull a gun on someone, that's clearly murder if you actually kill them. If you beat them with a fucking baton 50 times, that's clearly murder as well.
Also, if there's a guy being resuscitated in, say, Medbay or something like that, and you grab the guy and run with him, you're guilty of murder.
You know
What?
what's weird? Just like Cobra Dude just showed, the image for murder is just
Yeah,
a
that's what I was
bartender cutting someone with a glass shard. The image for manslaughter is someone
That's
with
not glass.
with the
Yeah.
fucking axe just
Blame
chopping
the
them.
wiki team. Blame the wiki team.
Blame Flies, technically.
It's obviously surgery with an axe.
Honestly, I thought I was doing surgery on him. I'm not sure where I went wrong.
I brought
Hey,
it up
I
'cause
mean-
thought that was how you get in.
Very invasive
I was just doing a
surgery.
sex change surgery, and all of a sudden it started bleeding.
Oh, if they started bleeding, I guess that was successful.
All right.
Wait, this
Attempted
is
murder.
doubtful.
Attempted murder falls very much in line with what we just said about murder, except you are not successful. If you pull a gun on someone and you unload it on someone with the clearly intent to kill them, but for whatever magical reason they survive, that's attempted murder. Again, it's intent in what you do. If you beat someone over the head 30 times with a crowbar and they magically survive, that's still attempted murder. Now,
Yes.
manslaughter, oh dear.
This is where it gets a little tricky.
Manslaughter requires you to prove that this person did not actually have any intent to murder someone. And what this usually means is the assault stopped clear of death, but due to external circumstances outside of your control, they died anyway. Either medical attention just wasn't good enough, or they couldn't get medical attention, or someone else hit them accidentally and they died. The point is, you were not trying to kill them, but you caused enough damage that some minor external circumstance caused them to die. I think a good example of that was done was this one time where someone accidentally flushed someone down disposals, and what they didn't know was that the disposals conveyor belt was on, and someone had jammed open the disposals blast door. So the person ended up getting spaced. Now, the person that disposal that person had no idea this was going on. They were incredibly surprised. They were not intending to kill that person. They were just intending to disposal them. Jesus, my fucking lights went out. But they still ended up killing them. The point of the matter is, you're not trying to kill someone, but you do. Intent is very important here.
I've actually got a decent example here. So it was around where there was a lot of chaos going on, and I was in science, and I saw a guy breaking into the RD's office, so I sort of disarmed him to stop, and he started attacking me with a crowbar. So it got to the point where I was quite injured, and I walked into robotics, grabbed a surgical drill, and hit him a few times. I didn't realize I was targeting his head, and his head came flying off.
I remember this. I remember watching this.
So I just instantly grabbed his body and threw him on the robotics table and was like trying to reattach his head.
I would like to also mention that manslaughter also, if they had no premeditated intent to kill him, if they were not planning this whatsoever, like not to say that if you use lethal force on them, but if you're not meaning to use that lethal force in a way that would kill them, then yeah, I would say that counts as manslaughter when they do end up dying. For instance, let's say you've got a shotgun and you shoot somebody and all of a sudden, bam, their head goes off. Well, were you intending to kill them before with that shotgun when you got it? Or is it just so happens that maybe you were trying to get away from security and you blasted somebody with a shotgun and getting away and yeah. X game, no, I am not German. I'm fucking American. Pizza, fucking hot dogs. I don't know.
Keep
America.
going. Keep going.
Fuck yeah.
Regardless, intent, context, context. Context is king, intent is queen.
The interesting thing about a manslaughter and murder thing is that somebody can lie and say they didn't mean to.
You do
Yeah,
kind of
that's
have to
fine.
look at the context.
Yeah, it's entirely down to the evidence.
I mean,
Also
you can't
witnesses.
you can't really
This might be
bullshit
worth
and say you
trial.
didn't mean to do it when you pulled the revolver on them. I swear, officer, I didn't mean to shoot them 3 times in the head.
And by the way, I forgot to mention this. I think this is important. Witnesses do count as evidence, and they're normally really, really important evidence. The AI's words will always be reliable, and if they're not reliable, I believe that is against their laws. So you should always be trusting the AI,
Unless
and
they're subverted?
normally, yeah. Or unless they're subverted, but like that's a different issue
If you've got
entirely.
no reason to believe they're subverted, assume they're good.
And like your officers as well, you should be taking their words for it, unless like you believe that they're shit and like they think that murder, like or like assault, is just like slapping someone across the face.
I'm cop.
Or if they're
Yeah,
Joe.
cops. I
Always
only
make
joined
a
the
point of
security
asking
force to
your
kill people.
officer- Wait, always make a point of asking your officers what happened, not the crime. Because you can ask, what did they do? They say assault. You ask, no, but what actions did they take? And they say, oh, they disarmed me 3 times.
Yes.
They can be
Talking
wrong
about
too.
this.
Ask them what they actually did in terms of actions.
I'd like to make a side note here. For all y'all playing in internal affairs, this is essentially your job. When we say investigate an arrest, make sure it's valid, it means talking to both the prisoner and the person who arrested and whoever set their timer. It's about talking to them directly and asking them what happened.
Yeah, what you don't do is stand in processing and demand that you're their lawyer for 30 minutes.
Yeah, fuck you people. God damn it.
If you're a lawyer and you stand in processing demanding that your client is innocent, fuck you. Next up.
All right, should we just go to mutiny?
Yeah.
I have never seen mutiny, so someone else take this.
Wait, I have
Mutiny
seen
is
I have, and I want to say something about it.
Mutiny mostly applies to head revs, which aren't actually in rotation, or people who start riots and just won't stop, no matter how many times you drill them.
It's kind of left over.
I've seen actually Grey Tiders, but this was like a really bad Grey Tide case. And this guy was organizing riots. He kept eluding security. Eventually, when we did catch him, because it actually does say in inciting a riot, I think, that it can be up to mutiny. This guy was trying to get the captain demoted and all these kind of things, and he's essentially inhibiting so much other people's work, their game, that kind of thing. That, I feel, is where mutiny comes in. Just 100% against the station, Cyberad, CENTCOM, and that kind of thing. They're 100% against them. Then yes, that's mutiny. They're revolutionary, though not a rev, if you catch my drift.
Mutiny can be very self-antaggy a lot of the time.
Yes.
Another example would be, for example, let's say that you have a captain that is actually decent and reasonable, and you have yourself a chief medical officer that, for whatever reason, feels like they are meant to be the supreme king ruler of everything. He is so cool. And this chief medical officer decides to load up his hypo spray with poison and shit, or, I don't know, whatever the fuck people use instead of chloral hydrate nowadays, and ambush the captain, and like hold him hostage, and then try to get them demoted and try to use their access for shit. That's mutiny. Going against the head of this chain of command and trying to subvert it without any legal, valid reason. Now, if the captain is being a condom, that's a different story. I'm not going to charge, I'm not going to build bullshit, I'm not going to give any shit if you help them with a condom captain. You're doing everyone a favor.
All right.
Should we move on?
Yeah, it's been almost an hour and a half, and we only have 2 laws left. And by the way, we're not going to go over the
Really?
modifiers, because holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
You
Next
can
up,
read
read
about
them.
the
Those are pretty
modifiers
clear cut.
yourself.
Grand sabotage.
Grand sabotage, that's obviously, they list all of them there. And also bombing. Welder bombs, that
as
counts
a
as like
rule of-
sabotage or something like that, but
As a rule of thumb, large explosions that breach a large part of the hull, engine grief, like either releasing the engine or just shutting off the engine entirely, power outages, it's very difficult to do grand sabotage alone, but if it ends up causing large amounts of damage to the station, then there you go.
if you're doing it systematically, say rather than just cut one wire, that's grand sabotage. But if you
Pretty
just
much.
go fuck this APC, that's just sabotage.
The wording still hasn't changed.
Sigh.
Should we
Deliberately
move on?
exposing areas to space. God damn.
Not necessarily, Dean, because grand sabotage apparently to the wiki says destroying the AI. So if they have to kill the AI, that counts too.
Yep. Next up, Grand Theft.
Grand Theft.
Oh, yeah,
Here we are.
Fucking with the AI's laws is generally grand sabotage too.
Yeah,
That too.
definitely.
Grand Theft is very simple to explain. If it's an antag objective, it's Grand Theft. Done.
And yeah, Valley had a question for Grand Theft that I wanted to address. I think. Go for it.
Do it, Valley.
Yo.
The Water Valley.
No.
No. I mean, I will get pissed if you steal my pen, but no.
It should
It should
be.
not be.
I will grab a baton, shove it up your ass, and wave you around like a goddamn flag for stealing my pen. But no, it's not.
Actually,
That's a sweet ass pen.
once I broke into the captain's office and stole his donuts, and they tried to get me on Grand Theft.
Oh,
I mean, we're
I
talking
think that's
donuts
fine.
here.
No, his donuts are special. I just know
Oh,
it. He has
well,
more
they-
frosting.
Well, there used to be an objective with
Normal
porgy
donuts
meat.
theft, frosted donuts grand theft. That's the rule.
All
We're
right, I
talking
think
like
that's
jam donuts
no,
now.
no, hold
That's
on.
execution.
Epic says if you end up finding, like, for example, a compact defib inside of a crate on the asteroid, what if you get charged with grand theft for that?
You kind of need to. It's kind of hard to prove that you did it because most likely people are not going to believe it if you say, I just found it.
If the CMO
Grand-
still has theirs, then
Well, if the CMO still has theirs and you find another one, then you kind of just need to ask the CMO, and in which case, no, it's not Grand Theft. Grand Theft implies Grand Theft means you have to steal it yourself. Like you need to break into the captain's office and steal their antique gun, or break into the RD's office and steal their reactor teleport armor.
Yeah.
So, on that note, if you find something and don't hand it in, like something important that is theft, to
Yes.
whatever degree.
Like you can only go so far with I just found it. If you just found the nuke disk and then you hand it in, that's one thing. If you just found it and then held it in your back for 30 minutes, no, that's Grand Theft.
It's funny. I actually did find the nuke disc once a long time ago, like maybe a year ago.
After his condom.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you know the observation bit between Science and Medvay, with the little chair that's just looking out into space. The
Yeah, I like
fucking
that.
nuke disc was in there, just sitting there. And I found it when I was running away from being demoted as a surgeon. So I used I called over a security officer and said, "Hey, I've got something kind of restricted here, but I'll only give you it back if you tell them to stop chasing me." And they actually
All right.
did.
Awesome. Okay, we want to go over all the laws.
Wait, hold on. There's one thing that every now and then causes confusion about Grand Theft, and that's not everything that's in the vault is Grand Theft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
the gold
gold
bars
is
no one
not
cares
Grand
about.
Theft.
Yeah,
No
The
one
gold
cares
is
if
not
you steal a
Grand
coin.
the gold, the
Championship
belt.
belt.
I think the only things in the vault that are actually Grand Theft is the nuke,
The
Yeah.
nuke
And
and
the
the
documents.
the
Don't touch the
documents.
championship belt. Leave it alone.
Also, the championship belt.
Yeah, leave it. It's mine.
Does the belt really count?
Yes.
I don't
To me,
think.
it does.
It's
You
champion belt.
Wait.
Okay, so we're moving on to traders now.
Actually, before we go into traders, we are going to be talking about traders, but I think that I wanted to go through the questions that we have now, just because they've been sitting around for an hour and a half, and then we'll go to traders, and then we'll go back to questions.
All right.
The questions
sure.
have been here for a while, so yeah, we're going to start answering questions now. Don't send any extra ones. I won't answer them, but once we start talking about antags again, we'll open up questions again. I'm just going to go through the questions that were sent to me already, because they've been sitting there for an hour and a half now.
Oops.
So let's go ahead.
Just send the questions.
All right then. That's not a question. Next one. Sorry. Okay. Can we make the punishment for sec officers not updating sec records punishable by Okay, never mind. Next question. No. Thank you, Rapid Bashful.
Rapid
Excellent.
vouch.
Okay, so this
Update
one.
fucking records.
That's actually, I've got a good idea for that. We need our own chain of command for security.
Beautiful.
We
Okay.
do though. It's like
Yeah,
You
the
can use that
HOS
on them.
warden and
Isn't
Police
that the
officers.
warden?
HOS, then
Wait,
warden,
is this
then
when did the-
everyone else.
Okay, so New Wave Microwave Oven asks 2 questions. The first one is, I think we already addressed this one. Can you arrest cargo on suspicion for supplying weapons or hacking the Lave? I think we already talked about that.
On suspicion alone? Without evidence?
no, you
You
need to search
can't
them
arrest
first.
anyone based on
You have to
this.
search them.
Yeah, they actually have to commit the crime or like have the intent.
hacking
It is
the
sufficient.
autolav is not a crime.
There's another example for that.
Yeah,
I'm not
but-
sure if you've seen this person who's been like grey-eyed a lot recently. It's a Volp character.
You could arrest anyone on the suspicion of, let's say, murder then.
This person had like committed some crimes early in the round, and someone thermited into the vault, and everyone just sort of assumed it was this Volp character and arrested them because it was probably them, and that was their actual reasoning.
Yeah, no suspicion arrests. Now, if you actually have some evidence, like for example, let's imagine that you have a suspicion, you can ask them, for example, to go inside and rummage through the records, like the filing cabinet, and see if they actually ordered anything. Because most of the time, they're not actually smart enough to delete the things, so they're just kind of sitting there, incriminating them.
I caught a rogue HOP by looking at the filing cabinets.
Let's move on, because this question I find pretty important because it's relevant. Is it alright for a detective to get a sec belt?
Yes,
Yes.
they should
Yeah.
spawn with one.
Yeah.
Sure,
really
but
spawn
you
with one.
don't need it.
Yeah, you don't
You
need
don't-
it, but it's harmless.
But I'm gonna give
It
you one
also looks
anyway.
dumb.
I mean,
It really
take
does
this-
help to like carry your ammo on your belt so you can carry over things
all
in your
right,
bag.
all right, okay. Take this from someone who literally mains detective. You can carry everything you need in your belt without a sec belt on your belt slot in your backpack, and you still have room for a few medium items. All right,
The
and
ammo
that's
is
including
Your
folders.
jacket too.
If you do wear the armor, it does, you know,
Well,
rest of the things
never
have
wear
2
the
extra slots.
armor.
Well, if
Armor
you wear
is
the
for
armor,
shit
you
detective.
deserve what you get.
Armor looks better than the coats.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Use the
does.
code.
We're not
Oh,
arguing about
oh,
this.
oh,
We're not
oh.
arguing about this. We answered the question. Let's just move on.
Is that an important question?
All right, next question then. This one is from. By the way, thank you, New Wave, for the questions. All right then. Has asked any question, and I said, yeah, any question. Next question.
What?
All right then. Just never mind with that one.
Okay.
Okay then.
okay then.
So efficient.
Okay. I think that we already answered most of Valley's questions. Actually, like they asked about the pen Grand Theft. I suppose the NT reps Zippo also falls under that. Okay. Yesterday I arrested an officer and got arrested for resisting a bullshit arrest for a charge I have already done. What do?
Say that again, please.
So
Without the background humming.
okay.
Sorry.
This question is from Valley. Yesterday, I arrested an officer and got arrested for resisting a bullshit arrest for a charge I have already done.
Define bullshit arrest, please. Because that's really very subjective.
Every arrest is technically a bullshit arrest.
One
One
second.
bullshit the person you
arrested.
arrest.
No, everyone's innocent, dude. No one's guilty in prison.
Hey,
It's like
you're all
Shawshank.
guilty of living. We gotta go Judge Dredd on people. Judge Death. on
Oh
people.
god, it's this again.
Okay, arrested because somebody forgot to set the records to released after you got out.
This is going to be a plague forever. Because people are always going to forget to set the record, and Beepski don't give a shit. Beepski is just gonna keep attacking you as long as you have that arrest tag, and if no one in security is bothering to keep the records, there's not much you can do there. Apart from
This is an
Yeah,
internal affairs thing.
Yeah, an administrator can come in and say, you already arrested them for this, release them. This has to be done ICely, and it is really much a records-keeping thing. And it also, of course, exemplifies why you should update your fucking records, because it keeps this from happening.
God damn it.
Also, honestly, if this happens to you, if you get arrested like this, you're better off just explaining the situation politely, because if you start screaming at them, they'll likely get.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
start screaming about them being idiots,
They'll
or
just
if you're
bully
being
you.
hostile, they're just
don't
gonna
act like
ignore
you're
you.
guilty.
Any other questions?
I'm gonna keep moving on
Hey.
then.
No
All right then.
questions? All right.
Okay. Wheatley. Yeah, we already answered this one. He asked. Wheatley asked, "Can I space security officers if they buy items from the syndicate uplinks?"
No.
We
Oh,
talked
you,
about
you
that.
can't space them.
You can space them, but
You could put them in a spacesuit and like space them and tell them to think about what they've done.
Go
Go in
Go
the
for a
corner.
Go sit
long
in the
walk.
corner. Go orbit in the corner.
all right. This is a relevant one from Frosty. What is the punishment for stealing the nuke from the vault?
Grand
Grand
Theft.
Grand
Theft.
Theft.
A boink, probably.
Boink
No,
and
no,
Grand
No, no,
Theft.
no. Let's do this thing. We used to boink it, but it was a very contentious thing because some admins boinked for it, others didn't. And so we sat down and we realized players can't actually do shit with the nuke.
Yeah, that was the
Unless
main
they're
reason why I
ready
asked
and
that.
unless they're ready and willing to sit down and also steal the nuke disk, which is also Grand Theft, by the way, and is also boinkable,
And then brute force
And
the
sit
nuke
down.
code.
and brute force it. And it's what, a 5-digit? It's a 5-digit thing. It's a 5-digit number. There is not enough time in a round for you to brute force the number.
Because there's that many combinations. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
it's a
keep in mind this is a beyond menu.
Yes.
You should be able to use a
So-
multi-tool and see.
so
which
basically,
digits are right.
Because you can't really brute force it, because you can't really use it, then it's just Grand Theft. It's no longer boinkable.
It's an IC issue, not an OC issue.
Yeah. Then again,
The
you did
issue
steal-
is then if you do like call in say a death squad later in the round to nuke the station, nuke's not there anymore.
that's a very restrictive thing. It rarely happens. Regardless, you're still stealing a nuke. So you're going to get punished for stealing a nuke.
All right, next question.
Okay then. Let's see. So 2 questions from Ernesto Tomato. First one: if the time in the cell ends and the prisoner doesn't want to leave security, what do you do with him?
Yes,
You
you
just throw him
gun
out.
them and you
You
drag
taunt
them
them
out.
and throw them out.
Exactly.
You'd be
You
like,
throw
get the
them
fuck
out,
out of my
Throw them out if they
face.
come back. Yeah, you can stay in a cell.
Just close them for the next 15
If you
minutes.
really want to.
Hey, if they want to come in that bad.
If
I'd actually like to see someone like renovate their own little cell and just live there for a whole round.
Oh,
That'd be
I mean,
nice, like a mascot.
keep in mind,
Yeah, your own security mascot, that'd be great. We
if
should
you're,
make that a
force-
job.
if you're forcing someone out, put their things in a bag, throw them outside, throw the bag, and then yell out and stay out for maximum efficiency.
No,
just
no,
like
you
you do
yell,
with your
stay
ex.
safe, cause no harm.
Stay safe, citizen.
Okay,
Next
that
question,
was actually all the questions so far. So, if you guys have any more questions, I'm gonna have to unfortunately leave within the next 20 minutes. So,
Aw.
does anyone else want to take the
Oh.
questions?
I can take questions.
All right then, send the questions.
Send them to cold. You'll do it. Whatever.
Spam cold with questions.
Spam calls the
Oh,
questions,
boy.
and they are security-related questions, and we will get to answering them. But first, we're going to start talking about handling them. Handling antags.
Let's
I
start
have
with
the-
everyone's favorite, the shadow nerds.
Shadow
Wait,
nerds.
Actually, I have the.
Or like you want to get them, you know, in those old like cop films, and they get on the chair and they shove the light in their face. That's what you want to do.
Beautiful.
Where are the drugs?
I'm going to go try to find a list of antags so we can go through all of them.
They're in the wiki page.
we
down
do
at the
on the
roles.
role page at the very bottom, and the first one's Trader, which is why I think we should go by that.
All right.
It goes Trader, Changeling, Nukies, Xenos, Wizard,
Xenos.
Cultists, Shadowlings,
Yeah, how do you
Vampires,
process-
Boxes,
How do you arrest one? I've never learned that.
and Cornrows.
If we talk about Xenos, can I yell?
Yes.
something?
Yes.
No.
Fucking Xenos,
Oh,
guys.
wait,
first
no,
Trader.
Damn.
Let's talk about
we talk
traders.
about Xenos first.
Traders, yeah. Let's go on
Trainers
topic.
is like there's so many things they can do. I mean, it's really case by
Trader-
case.
Trader is really the main antagonist for which you can just do just about anything in space law. Literally anything. You can charge them with pretty much any crime in there. It depends
actually-
entirely on what they do.
Well,
Especially
it's-
now
it's
that
a lot
the
about-
AI can
yeah.
be a traitor. I mean,
Completely
they
honest, I think
used
we can
to be.
skip traders altogether because they're not too different. They're literally
just-
other crew members that just have an assignment and have
Right,
access to more
yeah.
gear.
You just apply space law. That's it.
Just
How you
apply
treat
space
them
law.
is basically how they act.
Wait,
Like
however,
Dean said before, if they're like cooperating, well, make them into your little brigade. It'll be great.
hold on. I
However-
do want to address though labeling them as an enemy of the corporation because, I mean, we already have things for that, but sometimes it can be a little vague because somebody will catch somebody. It's like you've just been attacking somebody else, and it's like, why are they here? It's like EOC, and it's like, what evidence do you have? You need to be able to support that they are an enemy of the corporation by either an open PDA or a trader gear or something like that. Or if they try to, I don't know, nuke the AI or something, it has to be very freaking clear. You will know when they are a traitor. You're not gonna guess, all right? So stop with the whole bringing in somebody that whacked the captain twice and now they're an antag for some reason.
Yep, and don't arrest people just because they're antags. Like, you should be able to take care of some traitors just without ever knowing that they're traitors. Like, let's say someone had to murder someone, you bring them for murder, put them into the permabrig, and you'll never know that they're ever a traitor, ever have to prove them, but you still shut them down at the same time, right?
Yeah. All right, should we move on?
Okay, so now we're going to get into the main issue, and also
Changelings.
really quickly before anything else, in terms of EOC, if they haven't committed any crimes that are medium or above, they aren't eligible for execution. I do not believe.
Yeah, if they haven't killed anybody or broken in, but you've still found them with EOC stuff, it's perma.
Okay, so let's talk about how to handle changelings. These guys are interesting.
9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to kill
Perma
them.
or XL, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's really just not worth the headache to, like, detain a changeling.
I have actually been boinked for attempting to execute a pretty goddamn confirmed changeling, so I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
I'd still say it's not worth the headache.
You can get boinked over executions just to ask if it was legit. It might not be because it wasn't.
Yeah,
Alright.
because when somebody helps, I've been executed, they don't actually specify. So usually admins have to help, like, hey,
okay.
do you have proof, etc., etc., etc.
Okay, then.
All right, for handling changelings then. So obviously it might help for people to bring up the changeling page so then you can know what their powers are. In fact, dealing with any antag, if you have a good idea of what powers they have, you're going to go far, very far.
And quickly, is there really, before anything else, identifying which person's a changeling and which person isn't? I think that's the first thing. Like, if they have an arm
There
blade,
is no test.
there is no test, which is why things are a bit unclear
Cole
sometimes.
brings up a good point. though.
One quote-unquote
You
test
must
you
catch
can
them.
do, get their account number from the head of personnel and ask them if they know it. A changeling who's stolen someone's identity might
Oh,
not.
doesn't have that info, yeah.
If they steal their ID card, then there's that.
There's a chance, however, that the guy you caught is actually the guy. Like, I mean, the identity of the guy is his real identity, so you will know the code, etc.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
not
bring
100%, it's not
people.
100%, but it's a good way to get an idea.
You can't really confirm a changeling until they've killed someone.
Yeah,
You
pretty much.
can put a
grew
changeling
an arm
in
blade.
perma if you think
Oh,
that they
actually,
are
I've
one.
got a screenshot. I should find that one second.
Oh, Dean has a good point. Please don't confirm changelings by the fluff text. It's really not something
Yeah.
you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Generally, a changeling will make themselves pretty obvious. They don't
If you
tend to
see
be
someone do
particularly
that, which I did, I've just posted a screenshot, then you could probably, probably confirm it.
Also, yeah, don't arrest changelings just because like they accidentally fucked up and said like colon and G. That's just an accident from typing. That's a really
Absorbing
shitty way to
AI.
catch them.
I was really lucky no one saw me do that.
Dead chat saw.
Like I think like one of the first, I remember one round like where they opened the round like that instead of having like I'll type it instead of having like a colon to semicolon like this. So they typed it. So they said like they did over comment chat. That's not don't catch changeling because of that. That's scumbaggy. All right, so in order to test changelings, the best way, if you think that they've changed their identity, then ask them for their account number. If they are not the real person, they won't be able to provide the account number. Otherwise, if they use the obvious powers.
I know
Sorry?
a way. I know a way. If they had robotic limbs, and if they suddenly have a normal limb, and they weren't cloned, then he's a changeling. Unless there was some mod surgery going on, but most likely.
I
there
wouldn't
wasn't.
spin on that should be one. But
Just adds to evidence.
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna cut
definitely.
in for just a second. I just want to let you guys know I made you guys a channel.
Oh, well, it's
So-
too late. We've
Yeah,
been here
well,
for ages.
pretty well
I mean-
established.
No, I mean the voice channel is fine. I don't care about the voice channel. I'm talking about the text channel. You guys can move
Oh.
there so it doesn't confuse people
We
further.
should.
Oh,
The security meeting channel.
actually,
You guys want to
I
have a break real quick? Like maybe a 10-minute break, then we all come back and we're all coming into the other new room.
I
Yeah, I need a
figure that way we don't have people like myself who show up and be like, "What the heck? Why are people just randomly talking and there is nothing prompting them?"
oh,
Then again, it's Space Station 13 community, so you guys could just literally all be crazy, and that
Okay,
wouldn't
then.
surprise me. But if you guys wanted a text channel, we can make text channels, no problem.
Okay.
I think almost any admin should be able to make a text chat channel. Might be wrong on that.
I can't because I'm a fucking newbie.
I think only senior means and maintainers can.
That's possible. Or it might just be because I have special permissions on the server where I'm practically like almost at the rank of owner, but not at the rank of owner.
Okay then. So I suppose we're gonna have
False,
a
can
quick
you
little
PM
break.
Cold's message to PMing him.
Yeah.
So message.
Yeah. If you have any questions, shoot me a PM. They'll get answered.
We'll get to answering them soon. I'm going to have to leave now after the break, just because I'm going to go out to eat.
I'm still
I'm
gonna
going to have
record.
to stop the recording. I think someone else is going to have to take care of recording. I might be still able to join, but just through phone. I'm going to have to go out to get some food.
I think I can record actually.
One thing
If-
though, can we not
if
put
you
it on
join through
Mediafire
phone-
this time? Because that is a shady website. I don't want to use it.
No, I can record with Audacity. I've got my thing set up.
All right, so 10-minute break. We're gonna have a new chat room, are we?
Yeah,
the new channel's already made.
You can use the voice channel.
Yeah,
the
it's
voice
here
channel's
already.
the same. You just have a new text channel. That's all.
Okay.
I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to stop recording.
For your phone, I definitely recommend setting it to push to talk.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
don't have voice activation on.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
I found
voice
that out
activation
last
isn't.
time. Apparently it defaults to voice activation.
Yeah, it does.
You can speak when you set.
So
the voice
you guys might have
activation.
heard my car starting up in the last meeting. I'm not sure.
What are we talking about now?
Okay, we're going to
Yeah,
have a
voice
quick.
activation.
We're going to have a quick little break. Tully, you're now the host. Congratulations, because I can't keep recording. I'm going to have to go out to get some
Huzzah.
food. So
All right, this
Cole's
come
gonna
back
take-
at 3:05.
Hold is going to take care of questions, and Counter's going to be recording it.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then we just finished talking about changelings. And then we're going like,
Righto.
and we'll start again later. I'm just going to go ahead and switch then, because I'm still going to be here, but I'm just not going to be taking part of it. Real quickly, thank you guys so much for coming and taking part of this meeting, because so far it has been going very, very well. Like way better than I ever expected. So thanks for that, guys.
Have a
Yay.
nice time eating.
All right,
Fucking Ernie.
I'll be right back.